morning, world. This is the Space Cowboy coming from the Interplanetary Good Vibe Zone. And for today's video, we are here. We're going to be talking about some Yakuza. So, yeah, or just like more so RGG, and not necessarily getting burnout from the Yakuza series, but rather making more games that aren't just Yakuza. You'll get what I mean. I mean, if you see the title of the video, hopefully you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. But essentially, I just want to talk about like Project Century and just RGG in terms of like making brand new games, because I feel like Yakuza for a while now is kind of been getting not stale, but maybe a little oversaturated or maybe a little bloated in terms of some of the games. And that's not even me saying that they're bad. Like, I still love RGG. I still think they make really solid games, better than, you know, some other things that get produced, you know, today, or at least lately. But I also do feel like, you know, me being a big Yakuza guy and me sticking around for the series for as long as I have, I want to see RGG make new games. And again, this all centers around Project Century. We have the brand new Project Century game, which that's not even like the official name for it. That's just what they've called it for right now. But we're finally getting a brand new IP. I know we had like Lost Judgment, but like an actual new IP that isn't just Yakuza. And I'm really excited for that game. It looks really fun. It looks really sick. I mean, again, we've only seen what we saw from the trailer that was revealed last year in the Game Awards. But if you know RGG, if you're a fan of Yakuza, if you're a fan of any of RGG's games, you know that they make killer ass action games, some fun ass brawler beat 'em up action games. Like, they're really, really fucking good, really fun. And I don't have any qualms or any doubts that they're going to kill it with Project Century. I have a lot of high hopes for this game. And I hope they don't try to do anything where they try to pull like some Yakuza prequel thing where this is like some prequel, some weird like thing of like, oh, this is like Kiryu's like old ancestor or whatever from like the 50s or whatever. Like, I don't want that. I want this to be its own thing, which I'm pretty sure it will be. And again, just from what we saw from that trailer, from like that initial trailer, I will say the aesthetic looks cool. I like this sort of like 1950s, 1940s or 50s, like industrial punk aesthetic. Like, it looks really fun. The new guy that we're going to be playing with, like, he looks cool. I love like the combat. It looks violent. Like, RGG with the Yakuza combat, it's not necessarily not known to have been violent, or it's not that it isn't violent, you know, especially with like some of the heat moves that we've seen throughout some of these games. This game looks more visceral compared to like some of the Yakuza stuff, and again, I think that looks interesting. Looks really interesting. Like, yeah, man. Like, again, I'm really excited for the game. I have a lot of high hopes for the game, and I really hope this game does well enough to warrant RGG to want to make more stuff outside of Yakuza, because we've had the Pirate Majima game that came out this year. I haven't bought it yet. I will buy it. I will play it at some point. I just didn't buy it at release. Granted, I did have some other stuff I wanted to play, but this was the one time where, you know, like, unlike last year, where, you know, when Yakuza 8 came out and I didn't buy it immediately off release, that was more so off of money issues. And, you know, there were other games that came out literally during either the same day or the same time where I just wouldn't have been able to decide, and I probably would have ended up waiting on Yakuza 8, which I ended up waiting on anyway, and I bought it like later when it was like on a discount, on, you know, on a sale or something. But with the Pirate Majima game, I do want to play it, but I didn't have like this strong urge to like want to play it on day one release. And maybe my experience with Yakuza 8 probably helped with that a little bit. Like, I didn't hate Yakuza 8. I still like Yakuza 8 a lot. The gameplay is definitely improved. It's still a couple of things here and there for the most part, but I mean, the gameplay was definitely improved from 7. And while the story for me wasn't like bad, like, I don't know, like Yakuza 8, I'm kind of split on. Like, with Yakuza 7, I was like, yeah, man, I'm all in, I'm ready. This is great new start to like this new like era of like Yakuza and these new characters, this new cast. And then with Yakuza 8, it's like it's almost I think they took a couple steps back for me. I know some people are gonna agree, or not agree. I mean, I meant to say disagree. I know a couple of people out there are gonna disagree. But personally, like I said, I mean, everybody's gonna have their own opinions. That's fair. I just don't want y'all getting toxic or, you know, annoying about it or whatever. But I'm kind of 50-50 on the story. Like, I feel a little weird about it. And then I did not play Gaiden, the man who erased his name, just because that was another game where I was kind of like, at first I thought I was, but then when I saw the game and I watched like stuff and everything, I felt like Gaiden was one of those games where I was like, like outside of the important cutscenes, I could watch those. Apparently, from what I have heard, it's the best feeling combat in terms of like the Dragon Engine stuff, which I guess that's fair. But a lot of the stuff in that game, in terms of like the, you know, the upgrade systems and the, you know, the way they go about like sub-stories and what sub-stories on, like I kind of skipped out on it, and I don't know. I mean, if I do end up playing it, because I don't want to just skip out on it entirely. But like, again, that was another one of those games where I just felt like I didn't really need to, I didn't felt the immediate urge to want to play the game. Especially when I found out that the game was pretty much written after Yakuza 8. It's just all over the place, man. Like, it didn't really help at all with like the Yakuza 8 stuff. Like, it was something where I could very much be like, oh, well, why wasn't it DLC? Which apparently at some point, from what I heard, it was supposed to be DLC to Yakuza 7. I feel like we need a break outside of just regular straight up Yakuza. We had Lost Judgment. I know Lost Judgment didn't do particularly well, and we don't really know the future of the Judgment series or IP or whatever. Personally, I'd be fine if it just had 2 games. I don't really need everything that RGG does to like spawn out into like multiple sequels and whatnot, because like, again, Yakuza in of itself is already such a long-standing series with multiple mainline entries, and then you got the side games on their own, which is like fine enough because they're not really tied to with the main Yakuza stuff. And when I say side games, I mean stuff like, you know, Ishin, Kenzan, you know, Dead Souls, like those type of things. And you know what really also got me thinking about this as well is that not too long ago I was replaying Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, or, you know, Hokuto ga Gotoku, you know, like the Fist of the North Star game that they made. And goddamn did I have fun with that game, man. I mean, like, just replaying that game again, the combat is so fucking fun. Like, RGG did such a great job translating Fist of the North Star into a RGG action game. Personally, I think it's one of the best in terms of combat with the other games. You know, like, it's like, again, like the heat moves are great. Heat moves don't feel like a pain to pull off. You know, all of the different sorts of techniques that Kenshiro has, you know, at least as much as they did include. In fact, I actually did make a video talking about that game, so definitely go give that video a watch if you want to hear me talk about the Fist of the North Star game. And, you know, just how I think that game is pretty underrated in terms of all of the Yakuza games. But yeah, man, like, just after playing that game, like, it's so fun, it's so cool, and it made me want RGG to do other stuff. Like, I'm still sitting here begging RGG to do a JoJo's game. I think they would absolutely kill a JoJo game. Again, this is something I said in that video, but like, dude, I would love to see RGG tackle like other licensed IPs. I know it would be a little weird, and there's, you know, some loopholes and things they would have to go through to like kind of get that stuff started. But like, imagine like a JoJo game. Imagine I don't know, like I mean, again, this is personally for me, this is another one that I would like to see them do, just because, I mean, they already made a samurai game. So like, if they made a Rurouni Kenshin game, I actually think Rurouni Kenshin is like a perfect template for them to do a game of, just because of the way RGG games are structured. I mean, you literally have the perfect arcs and like characters. Like, you have Kenshin, and then you can have like Saito with Sanosuke as like other major side characters that can come along. You can either have them as playable characters, or you can just have them as like, you know, important characters that show up. And then, you know, like Kaoru, and then you like, you know, if you want to do like the Oniwa Banshu arc, like, you can have that be like an initial thing, and you can maybe like find a way to fuse those characters and like maybe the Kyoto Disturbance. Maybe they can do an adaptation of the Kyoto Disturbance arc, or maybe they can like do something similar to the Fist of the North Star game, where like you have like, oh, important characters in the series that show up, but maybe they'll just show up for like the exclusive in-game story, whatever that would be, whatever that may be, and then you could just incorporate those characters in, like, just to have them show up, because obviously these are like the characters that are involved. Plus, like, Rurouni Kenshin's not a super long series either, so like, again, they've made Kenzan and Ishin. You've made samurai games. And again, with the way like heat moves slash heat actions work, with all of Kenshin's like different sword techniques and all that stuff, dude, I don't know. Again, I know I don't even want to get into the whole like, you know, Rurouni Kenshin debacle. That's like a whole nother tangent in and of itself. I don't care. I love Rurouni Kenshin. I think RGG could do a sick ass Rurouni Kenshin game. But yeah, no, not just to kind of go back into the whole thing. Again, I know RGG can make other games. I know they can, because I looked at the Pirate Majima game, and yeah, the combat looks fun. It looks great. But I look at that game and I can't help but imagine that this could have been something else instead of another Yakuza game. I need RGG to start expanding their horizons a bit more again. Again, I know it's scary. I know it's tough because they did do Binary Domain like years ago. I love Binary Domain. I think that game gets slept on, but unfortunately that game did not do very well for the general audience. But no, Binary Domain was sick, man. Like, that was like their first attempt at like making a third-person shooter. And again, I know it didn't do well, especially during that time period where that was like the tail end of like the constant output of like third-person action shooters and all that stuff. But no, the Binary Domain was sick ass game. Judgment, I think the first Judgment game is like really cool. You know, despite some flaws here and there. And then, like, again, you already heard me say, like, the Fist of the North Star game is, that's, like, probably, like, my top, like, you know, it's definitely, like, a top Yakuza game, or just, like, a top RGG game for me. Again, I know there's some bias in that. I know I've said this a bajillion times. I just gotta put it out there, but I know RGG can do better. And I really want to see them start doing stuff again. Like, I really do need them to start taking a backseat a bit more on Yakuza. Again, we don't know anything about the Project Century thing just yet. Like, we haven't had any new footage. We haven't had any new trailers or anything like that. So hopefully we can start getting stuff for that very soon. And then RGG are working on the new Virtua Fighter game as well. So I guess I could technically count the new Virtua Fighter entry, if they are going to call it like Virtua Fighter 6, whatever they're going to do. I could count that as an RGG game, kind of, sort of, even though that's not like, when I say RGG, I mean like a new like IP, new like, you know, brand new thing. That's just RGG working on Sega's like franchise fighting game. So that, I don't count that necessarily as like their own thing. But like, yeah, man, I would love to see RGG do like another, maybe like another Binary Domain, or even just like another like action shooter or whatever. Or again, like I said, I think RGG can definitely get other anime IPs and do other games. Like I said, I think like JoJo is like literally like next to Fist of the North Star. That's like the number one thing I want to see RGG make a game out of. I would love to see Rurouni Kenshin. That's more like my wishful thinking kind of thing or whatever. They could do like Sengoku Basara, or that's more like a Capcom thing for them. But hey, maybe they could do like a Berserk game. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I want to see RGG do more things. I do think Yakuza needs to take a bit of a backseat, just because I do think it's starting to get a little oversaturated at this point. I do think the quality of the story of the Yakuza games are kind of getting a little muddy, and I do think just because of how many games that were coming out. Because like, mind you, we had the Ishin for remake that came out in the beginning of 2023. Then we had Gaiden that came out later that year. Then we had 8 that came out immediately in that year. Like not even far out. Like, but because the Mano Arisa's name came out around like November of 2023, like around that late period. And then Yakuza 8 literally came out at like the beginning of the year, last year. And now we got the Pirate Majima game that came out like a year after. So like between those like intervals, we had like what, 1, 2, 3, 4 like Yakuza games getting worked on at the same time. And it was just, it's a lot. You could tell it was a lot going on, and you know, like the quality between these games definitely do differ. And I think RGG has to like slow down and take their time a little bit again with like releases. And I think if they start working on more like just other different IPs and just take a backseat from like just like the Yakuza series by itself, I think we could be in a better place. And you know, when we do get to our eventual like Yakuza 9, when you know, whenever Yakuza 9 ever gets announced, you know, somewhere down the line in the future, then you know they can definitely improve on the quality of that game, all the other stuff. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Just essentially talking about RGG getting back into new, you know, IPs, or just working on different games, taking a bit of a breather from just like the Yakuza series in general. And like I said, I have a lot of high hopes for Project Century, and I really hope that that game can be like a really good game and can be a slam dunk, and we can start just seeing IGG do more new stuff, because I know they can do it. I know they can do it. They've shown us before, and again, we'll just have to see how it goes when we eventually get there. But let me know what you guys think. If you are Yakuza fans, do you feel the same as me? Do you not feel the same? I don't know. Like, let me know your opinions. Let me know what you think. You know, comment down below. And yeah, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you are. Make sure you sub to the channel. Excuse me. Big goal of the channel right now is 500 subscribers, so make sure you do that. Make sure you hit the like button if you like the video, and you know, we can push these videos out for more people to see. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you'll never miss any updates for uploads and live streams coming up on the channel. And make sure you interact with me more on the community/post section of the channel and whatnot. And with all of that being said, this is the Space Cowboy, and I hope you guys have a good night.